Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into XRP, and I've got some incredible insights that you absolutely need to hear about. So let's jump right in with this game-changing analysis. Oliver Mitchell, the CEO of Tokenist Investment, just dropped some serious knowledge about XRP's price potential. And here's what's fascinating. He's saying that XRP's price movement isn't really about the daily news headlines anymore. Instead, it's all about global liquidity shifts. Think about it. We're potentially looking at the end of quantitative tightening and a return to quantitative easing. That's massive for the entire crypto space, but especially for XRP. But here's the kicker. Mitchell is putting a real time frame on this. He's saying 6 to 9 months for XRP to really break out. And when I say break out, I mean really break out. Now, here's something that's absolutely blowing my mind. In mainstream media across Europe and other countries, guess what they're pushing? XRP, not Bitcoin like we see here in the United States. It's like everyone in the US is still trying to squeeze every last drop out of Bitcoin. But I genuinely believe this could be Bitcoin's final major run. Why? Because the narrative is completely shifting. Just look at the data. Bitcoin ETFs are seeing outflows. Institutional conviction is starting to crack. Even Morgan Stanley analysts are telling clients to take profits because crypto is entering what they call its fall season. But here's where it gets really interesting. While Bitcoin struggles, major players like Visa, Coinbase, and Franklin Templeton are going all in on blockchain infrastructure, stablecoins, and tokenization. These big institutions aren't looking for assets to buy and hold anymore. They want assets that work for them from day one. They want real-world utility, and that's exactly what XRP provides. Speaking of real-world utility, check this out. Ripple President Monica Long just hosted the UK Economic Secretary in Singapore. They're having serious discussions about crypto advancement, and the UK wants to lead the charge in becoming a crypto capital. And here's what's crazy. While the US was dealing with regulatory uncertainty and Gary Gensler's approach at the SEC, other countries have been racing ahead. That's exactly why Ripple expanded globally over the past 5 years, instead of fighting battles in the US. Now, let's talk about something that's flying under the radar: DeFi expansion. Doppler Finance just hit a massive milestone, crossing $100 million in total value locked. We're talking about growth from $5.5 million raised to over $100 million locked. That's serious momentum. And here's what I think is huge. This might be the first cycle where people can actually put their crypto to work in genuinely risk-free environments. Institutions are opening up options where you can earn from your XRP without ever having to sell it. Finally, let's talk numbers that'll blow your mind. BitGo, which activated the Evernorth wallet, is now creating thousands of XRP wallets every single day. We're talking about 11,000 wallets created in a single day. This isn't just speculation anymore. This is real infrastructure being built for real adoption. So, what does all this mean? We're looking at a perfect storm of factors converging around XRP. Global liquidity shifts, institutional adoption moving beyond Bitcoin, massive infrastructure growth, and a 6 to 9 month timeline for a major breakout. The question isn't if XRP will explode, it's when you're going to position yourself for what's coming. Now, here's where things get really interesting with those BitGo wallets. Each one of these new wallets contains exactly 25 XRP. That's not a coincidence, folks. Some people are saying there was a technical problem at BitGo, but others are convinced this is actually BitGo creating wallets for brand new clients. Here's the thing, we don't know for certain yet, and that's creating a ton of hype and speculation. But here's what I do know for sure. BitGo bought more XRP. And at the end of the day, that's what really matters. Now, this next part is absolutely crucial. XRP is getting ready to decouple from Bitcoin and Ethereum, just like gold decoupled from the rest of the market.
But now we're seeing the trend of gold no longer reflecting monetary policy anymore. Basically, its purpose is, again, acknowledged in a different way as a store of value, more of an intrinsic value in its role in the broader financial landscape. And I think XRP gradually will undergo some similar shift where it will decouple from Bitcoin, where it will decouple from the rest of the market, because its recognition, like gold, is going to be independent from something that is speculative to these cycles. And to my brother's point, as long
This is huge. Once the BIS, that's the Bank for International Settlements, classifies XRP as a Tier 1 asset, we're looking at instant decoupling from Bitcoin. No more dumping every time Bitcoin takes a hit. And I believe this could happen in the short term. Why? Because every single white paper from the BIS has been focused around Ripple and XRP. They see XRP as the future. They're planning to use this cryptocurrency to solve real-world problems and fix the issues they see with SWIFT. We're talking about real-time payments, money moving in seconds for fractions of a penny. That's the foundation for decoupling, pure utility. Speaking of game-changing developments, lenders have been incredibly slow to recognize crypto as legitimate wealth. But that's changing fast.
Why do you think that lenders have been so slow to recognize digital assets as an overall part of someone's wealth?
They haven't gotten the directive from up above that they're getting now, right? I mean, these are not speedboats. These are obviously aircraft carriers, and they take a long time to turn. So unless you have Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and the director like Pulte saying that you're going to count these assets, it was never going to be included. And like I said, this is just an obvious evolution of the policy. They already count volatile stocks. They know exactly how to discount these. They could count, a 30% or 50% reduction in the value of your Bitcoin or crypto holdings to make sure that it's safe collateral. But like I said, just really, really obvious, and just needed somebody at the top to take the initiative.
This is absolutely revolutionary. Most crypto investors have all their wealth tied up in XRP, XLM, HBAR, and other digital assets. When they walk into a bank for a mortgage, traditionally the bank would say, "You don't have any real money." But now, you'll be able to show your crypto portfolio as legitimate wealth. Even better, you won't have to sell your crypto. You can earn passive income from your holdings to pay your monthly mortgage. Here's something that's going to shock a lot of people. Crypto is maturing faster than most realize. There are still people talking about meme coins and the next cycle, but I think they're missing what's actually happening. The traditional 4-year cycle, I believe it's coming to an end. This might be the last cycle we see structured this way. What's replacing it? A utility run. I've been saying this for a while. Utility is what's going to break the 4-year cycle. And we're already on the verge of seeing this happen. I'm talking about 2026 at scale, where utility actually starts impacting XRP's price in a massive way. Couple that with all the catalysts happening right now, and you're looking at potential generational wealth, as long as you don't sell too early. If you put your crypto to work for you, you're already on the path to generational wealth. You're going to see life-changing money in this cycle, one way or another. Finally, let's talk about what crypto lawyer Fred Respoli just shared. He recently reacted to a post by Dave Weisberger, who tried to establish the difference between Bitcoin and other digital assets, including XRP. Respoli admitted that the analysis was reasonable, but he disagreed with several key points. And here's what's important. Respoli specifically highlighted utility and cross-border payments as catalysts that could send XRP's price absolutely skyrocketing. Here's something that absolutely blows my mind. People in the Bitcoin community still look at XRP and don't see it as a threat. They're just not getting it yet. XRP was literally built to solve all the problems that Bitcoin's creators saw from the beginning. Think about it. Bitcoin was always a beta test from day one. It's already losing momentum, and it's going to continue losing momentum as technology pushes forward. Proof of work is being left in the past, and XRP represents the future. Now, here's a completely wild theory that's been floating around.
Some people are claiming that Satoshi Nakamoto was actually a time-traveling AI from the future that created Bitcoin. I know, it sounds crazy, but wait until you hear where this theory started. This whole idea began back in 2017, and people are seriously suggesting an AI from the future created Bitcoin. Maybe they should just ask David Schwartz, who created Bitcoin, but I'm sure David will never admit that he was one of the creators. Personally, I believe it was the NSA. I think it was David and a few other brilliant minds. But here's what's interesting. David himself has said he's never seen anyone with the human intelligence capable of creating Bitcoin. Makes you think, doesn't it? So what makes Bitcoin so supposedly great? First, they pushed the store of value narrative. Then, digital gold. Every time one narrative fails, they just replace it with another one. Here's the truth. Bitcoin runs on a belief system. And now that we're getting spot XRP ETFs, watch how quickly that money shifts from Bitcoin ETFs, the institutions. They look at real value. They understand what XRP was built to be. Speaking of money flowing into crypto, Scott Besson mentioned that $2,000 tariff checks from President Trump could go to families making under $100,000 a year.
That's the most financially responsible thing to do?
Well, there are a lot of options here. The president's talking about a $2,000 rebate, and that would be for families making less than, say, $100,000.
Have you decided on that yet?
We haven't. It's in discussion. But the other thing to think about, Brian, is that what we did with the tax bill is actually financing the president's no tax and tips over time. So security and the big refunds you're going to see are a result of that. So that's another payment to the American people. And then the other thing you're going to see in the middle of the year are these Trump accounts. Every child born retroactively to January 1, but for the next 3 years, is going to get a $1,000 account that's going to be invested in the U.S. stock market. So that's another $1,000 for working families.
So yes.
Now, everyone's getting excited, saying these checks are going out tomorrow or by the end of November. But hold up, this isn't confirmed yet. And it might come as a tax credit, not an actual check. I'm seeing people saying all that money will flow straight into crypto, but let's be realistic. Look at what's happening in the world right now. Inflation is still rising. People are fighting debt. Even with a $2,000 check, most of that money is going toward bills and necessities. Now, crypto investors, they'd absolutely dump that $2,000 straight into crypto. But most people aren't in crypto yet. Here's what I think will happen. We're going to see a massive new wave of retail investors once the market really starts exploding. It'll be like an overnight event because everybody knows what crypto is capable of, but they don't want to tie their money up right now. They're waiting to see where things go. But the second crypto starts popping off, everybody's going to want in. That's the beauty of this space. It's the working person's shot at financial freedom. So there you have it, folks. We're standing at the edge of something massive. XRP is solving real problems, while Bitcoin clings to outdated technology. Institutions are recognizing utility over speculation, and when the retail wave hits, it's going to be unlike anything we've seen before. Until that happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. That's a wrap on today's video. I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, we're not just investing in crypto, we're investing in the future. Hit that like button if this opened your eyes to something new. Subscribe for more game-changing analysis, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep stacking, keep believing, and keep your eyes on XRP.